Today, we are looking at a summary of MJ DeMarco's The Millionaire Fastlane. And our mission is to figure out why the traditional path to wealth might actually be the exact thing keeping you tied down.
It's definitely a controversial take for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. So, okay, let's unpack this. DeMarco argues we're all traveling on one of three financial roads.
Yeah, exactly.
We know the disaster of living paycheck to paycheck on what he calls the sidewalk, but most people are actually stuck on the slow lane, right?
We are. The slow lane is, well, it's that traditional career path. And what's fascinating here is the grim reality of this so-called safe road.
Safe in air quotes, I assume.
Oh, definitely, in air quotes. Because even if everything goes perfectly, like you get all the promotions, the market returns your 7% year after year, you are literally trading your youth for financial freedom in your golden years.
Which is a really long time to wait.
It is. DeMarco actually brutally refers to this outcome as getting rich in a wheelchair.
Oh, wow. Rich in a wheelchair. That stings. But, I mean, the underlying mechanics are the real issue here, aren't they?
Yeah, completely.
Because you're trading time for money. Even if you secure a really high-paying skill, say you're consulting at a few $100s an hour, your income still has a hard mathematical ceiling.
Right, because the day only have 24 hours. You just run out of time.
Exactly. Relying on an hourly wage to build massive wealth is, it's like trying to fill a swimming pool with an eyedropper. You know, you're constantly working, but the water level barely moves.
I love that. That eyedropper visual gets right to the core problem. Human time is strictly finite.
Yeah, it really is.
So the only mathematical alternative to the eyedropper is removing yourself from the equation entirely. You have to completely sever the link between your time and your income. DeMarco calls this the fast lane.
Wait, so if I'm not trading my hours for a paycheck, what exactly am I building?
You build systems.
Because, you know, passive income sounds great on paper, but how does it actually work in practice without just becoming another full-time job?
Well, you build 24/7 systems, things like software, e-commerce, content platforms, stuff that produces value whether you are awake or asleep.
Right, making money while you sleep.
Exactly. But you can't just throw up a website and expect millions. DeMarco outlines specific rules for these systems to actually work. Take his rules of scale and entry, for instance.
Okay, I'm with you.
If your business has a low barrier to entry, like, say, starting a generic drop shipping store, literally everyone is going to do it, which just kills your margins.
Yeah, it's just a race to the bottom.
Precisely. You need a system that is hard to build but effortlessly scales to millions of users.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's look at his rule of control.
Oh, that's a big one.
Say I build a massive storefront on a third-party platform. It scales, it's hard to replicate, all of that. But if I rely entirely on their algorithm and they decide to change their terms of service overnight or, I don't know, suspend my account without warning.
Which happens all the time to people.
Right. So do I actually own an asset? Or have I just created another job for myself where an algorithm is my new boss?
That is such an important question about true ownership. If someone else holds the kill switch, you do not own a fast lane vehicle. You are literally just renting space.
You're just a tenant on their platform.
Yeah, exactly. We see this constantly with creators whose entire reach just vanishes after an algorithm update. To build genuine wealth, you must own the infrastructure or at least own the direct customer relationship.
So a massive following on a social app isn't actually an asset if the app goes out of business tomorrow. You need the direct emails, the underlying ecosystem.
Right, because if you don't control the foundation, the whole house can collapse at any second. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the fast lane fundamentally relies on what DeMarco calls the law of affection.
Law of affection. Okay, break that down for me.
Yeah. Basically, your wealth is directly proportional to the amount of value you create, multiplied by the number of people you serve.
Okay, I'm following the math there. Like, serve 10 people, you make a living. Serve millions, you build an empire.
That's it. Think about how Uber solved transportation friction, or, how Amazon completely solved retail convenience.
Massive scale.
Right. They didn't just work longer hours than the local taxi driver or the bookstore owner. They built systems that solved a frustrating problem for millions of people simultaneously. The system does the heavy lifting.
So what does this all mean? Ultimately, shifting to the fast lane isn't really about hoarding giant piles of cash, is it? It's about redefining the purpose of wealth entirely.
Yeah, real wealth gives you freedom of time, freedom of location, and freedom of choice while you are still young enough to actually enjoy it. Jobs pay salaries, but systems create wealth.
I love that. It's about throwing away the eyedropper and finally turning on the fire hose.
Absolutely.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. If your future wealth is directly tied to the number of people you help, what is one massively frustrating bottleneck in your own daily routine right now that millions of others might also be secretly desperate to solve?